Another group that won't conform would simply be those perhaps with outlier high intelligence, because it's been shown that having very extreme outlier high intelligence is associated with autistic traits. Now, people that are autistic are obsessed with order and obsessed with systematizing and obsessed with truth. And this is associated with very high intelligence, because if you are obsessed with order and systematizing and truth, then you will be more motivated to, and thus you will be better at solving extremely difficult cognitive problems because of your obsession with truth and whatever. And you will also you will be able to put empathy aside. It's been shown by Simon Baron-Cohen that autism and empathy are opposite ends of a spectrum. So people that are very, very autistic, obsessed with systematizing, are very low in empathizing. They don't care about people's feelings, and they're not very good at reading or understanding people's feelings. So some people will see that the correct answer will offend people, and thus they will force themselves to not believe or accept the correct answer. Autistics won't do that. They will always want the correct answer, and this will help them to solve cognitive problems, and they will come to the empirically correct conclusion and advocate that conclusion, even if it upsets people. And so you can see how that would be associated with doing better on intelligence tests. So you get those kinds of people. Now, those kinds of people, because they are low in empathy, which means they don't care about offending other people, they just care about the truth, they will critique the current dispensation, whatever it is, whether it is a right-wing worldview or a left-wing worldview. So you've got the autistic type people as well, the outlier high IQ people.
Yeah, I mean, it was just malnourished, and ultimately it died of starvation, I suppose. But no, yeah, but the thing is, what fascinated me about Leah's Cool One is that, I mean, it's every single one of his days is the exact same. It's almost as though the man has transcended like time. You know, he has no concept of the calendar or a structure of the day. It's just an endless cycle of routine until I assume he.
With the house arrest, I can sympathise with this plight. Each day is the same.
Well, this is it. We've all become the neat hog day, haven't we? We've all entered into that cycle. You know, I suppose.
The way I know it's a different day is because I've got a different tune, and sometimes I sing the theme tune as well. So we've got to do something to keep my sanity up.
Well, this is my whole point with. Yeah, when I see people go, oh, say the 14 words, and they've got all of this, what is it, Oswald Mosley shit, and they're reciting poetry and shit like this. I just think, I mean, it's a lark at the end of the day. But so there was this one guy.
This is the thing. This is the thing.
There was this one fellow I knew at the time, and this was very fucking tangential. I should have to clarify, but I knew him at the time, and he went by the name of Aethelwulf Hunter. So you already realise the level of lark we're on.
Yeah.
And he used to put out videos where he used to put out these videos on like Roman, just civilization throughout the ages, and they'd be like 15-minute long videos. You'd have like the Senate at Rome. You'd have our Parliament in the 1700s, right? And then you'd have interspliced Rotherham rape gangs in like a red filter, and all of this shit, and like doom music about how we're.
Did you not know he's currently doing? Is it 4 or 7 years for terrorism?
So that's what I was about to cap my story off with, Hemi. But thanks for ruining it.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks for ruining the fucking.
We're well versed in him. Did you know he used to order Domino's pizzas on his Aethelwulf 1488 email?
Okay, so you know exactly who this is. I didn't even realise you knew who this was. Okay, yeah. So he made this website up. Well, he made this website up. I think his name was like David or something. So I'll say I'm not using Aethelwulf the Hunter, man.
But Hunter was his actual surname, don't you, Godwinson?
Yeah. So. He had this website where he'd like rally people to go and like commit acts of terrorism, but he came off as quite a profound thinker. Every conversation I had with him, which I should clarify was slightly few, was always about like high aspiration, become who we are and the Faustian struggle, and you'd roll your eyes. But he defined himself as this poet, right? So, this was a few years ago now, but we were trolling Millenial Woes. Millenial Woes had like done something. I completely forget what it was. But at the time, we were like high Tory gang. Again, it's been lost to the mists of time. But like these high Tory gang lads, and I think they were Christ Bowl lads as well. Just anything to piss Millenial Woes off. He did a speech on us. Millenial Woes did a speech on us. Like, you can watch it on YouTube, I suppose, where he stood in front of assorted autists, and he's telling them about the evil. I think it was Christball. It might have been High Tory Gang. I forget. And this David Hunter, this man, the terrorist, he somehow, bizarrely, ended up apologizing to Millennial Woes, ended up going on Count Dankula's show, and for the past, like 2 whole hours, he's crying about being sexually molested as a child.
What the fuck?
And everybody was just like, good God. And he's weeping, he's saying that he's been abused, he's saying that he can't believe he's become this. The week after, he's like, "Oh, what are the rape gangs? Oh!" Yeah, like oof. Yeah. But he got 7 years. So the last guy...
That Dankula, it's like watching
went
a car
on
crash in slow motion. It's like watching someone run over by a steamroller in slow motion, isn't it?
I've tried to forget about that particular incident, Hemmingford, ever since that thing happened.
But around that time, Dankula was sort of going under a microscope because people were like, "Oh, he's alt-right, he's a Nazi," because of the pug. And so people were trying to figure out what he was. Surprise, surprise, he just became a grifter or whatever he was. Whatever he's doing now, street beefs, whatever the fuck that is. Mad lads, is that right?
Street beefs.
Yeah, but that's about it, right? I mean, what is Dankula that you can't find in your nearest CEX or HMV?
Definitely CEX, because they tend to they have that amount of shit in their face, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I went to HMV the other day. Bizarrely, it was open. And it was I couldn't believe. I thought it had been overrun by the cast of Mad Max 2. Crazy.
I'm surprised HMV is still going.
Oh, by the way, we are in the year 2021 when Mad Max 2 was set. So when are we all wearing the bondage gear and saying, "Just stop and the violence will end, the terror will end, just give us the fuel"? Great guzzly.
But that guy, the Aethelwulf man, he got 7 years. Last I read, so this is what happened. He sent some tweets saying he was gonna behead some people, and he went into court and he was on the BBC News. He got a suspended sentence or something.
I think he called for the execution of the head of terrorist police in Birmingham or something.
What an absolute larper! What an absolute, and you'd have a conversation with this guy, and he's like, "This is how we're going to save civilization through poetry. This is how we're going to save the white race through stanzas and iambic pentameter." And you just think, come on, you read these headlines about it.
Wanted to behead my friend for the crime of winding him up. Now, to be fair,
his ultimate go-to is beheading. There's 2 things in his vocabulary: are beheading and rape gangs. Just crazy shit.
No, to be fair to Hunter, the aforementioned friend does have a special ability of winding people up. But I wouldn't say it's a capital offence type winding people up.
But
do you know Vinny Struggle, Godwinson?
No.
Oh, right.
Good.
Yeah.
Don't go any further.
Mauritian Struggle. A bit more. At the time, around that time, you had a lot of lads going through university, and they were looking around them and seeing that the leaders of this were Millennial Woes and that Zurius, the 60-year-old man with a keyboard, and Mark Holland, and a lot of guys, a lot of serious guys, just thought, is it worth doing this shit? Is it actually worth doing it if we're going to be Millennial Woes? And we're going to be having to make excuses for being a rent boy when we were 17. You know what I mean? This crazy shit where you have to guard Millennial Woes because it's punching rights if you say, well, he's a homosexual. He's done nothing of worth. He's riddled with disease and God knows what. But yeah, I mean, this was all before a lot of stuff came out. I don't know what happened to Horatio. I do know what happened to Masterbrew, but I won't get into it. But yeah, it surprises me that the Aethelwulf guy got 7 years. What did he do subsequent to that? Because I don't even think that Who's the guy that was like the leader of National Action, the child?
Oh, did you no, because Hunter was actually part of Fura Krieg, which was run by a 13-year-old
Yeah, just any old fucking laugh, isn't it?
It was run by a 13-year-old Estonian boy.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one at the time, and it was like a mix between Nazism and like Viking Norse mythology. But they called themselves like
Wolves of Vinland. That's what it was. Jack Donovan.
Yeah, okay, you know exactly what I mean. Yeah, and it was just the highest law. They called themselves like I don't know, Von Halle, Von Kriegkaiser or some bollocks.
Mate, it sounds like the latest album from some German tech metal. Von Krieg.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, that whole Discord was kitted out like a Dokken album. It was pretty fucking rad, to be honest. But you had to be vetted, and you had to like sit in a committee with I think it was like 10 Spurgs asking you who you were, asking you if you knew what Oswald Mosley was, and all of this shit. Yeah. I'm about to drop a red pill. Do you know about the girl put in the kebab? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? That's the Rotherham kebab. Girls. Right, okay. But yeah, you see a lot of this stuff come and go, and this patriotic alternative PA is like the newest one, I suppose. There might be a few more that I'm not aware of. But...
Well, how could you possibly have watched like Young Nazi and Proud and thought, that's a guy I want to follow? The guy who was trapped in his living room by a Jewish reporter.
Well, quickly, just on this point about don't look for leaders on the internet. By all means, use the internet as a resource to learn more. No one's saying don't. But when you're pay-pigging people in the effort of saving the white race, instead of just having a laugh and having fun, then you really are going down a dark road. Because I've seen a lot of guys that suddenly, they're donating to whomever, and then suddenly they're fucking pagans. They don't even know what paganism actually is. They don't even know what the religion they're supposed to be professing actually is, because it's been lost over hundreds and hundreds of years.
They make up as they go along.
Suddenly they're this, they're that. They're sitting in a Discord with a power structure, bizarrely, and they're vetting new applicants, like a genuine committee, and they think they're actually doing something constructive. And almost always it ends with one of their crazy bastard autists within their midst doing some terrorist attack, doing something fucking off their meds crazy, and then it just ends up with a Discord deletion, I suppose, and they end.
Striker writes an article about it.
Revenge porn cases. What do you think to the upcoming revenge porn trial, Godwinson? Are you going to be covering that one?
Of Ralph?
Yeah.
Well, for a start, I don't find her credible at all. Like, at all. She herself, during the time of this, put out a statement where she said it was consensual, the release of this tape. Again, it's stuff that nobody should give a fuck about. Ralph will go to jail, I assume. I assume he's violated some probation, and if he's doing meth on camera, it's only a matter of time, right? So if this gets him or something else gets him, I don't know. To bring him down because I don't know what was Ralph's highest crime in the end. I can't remember.
To be fair, I don't think
eating his cat. I think.
I don't think she consented to him sticking his thumb in her ass and eating her shit, though, did she?
I mean, I shouldn't confess to this, but we did so on stream. We analysed frame by frame for 6 hours that entire sex tape, and the conclusion drawn was that they were both absolutely into that.
My favourite quote from the whole thing was you when you said, "He's riding dirty."
Well, he is, isn't he? I mean. The ultimate sin that she didn't even wipe her own starfish before sitting upon the gun.
I'm disgusted. That is horrible.
I haven't really been keeping up with Ralph at all.
To circle back to the start of the conversation, isn't she just like obeying a Zoomer programming to be famous? Through whatever.
Well, that's what I thought as well. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I genuinely think... So here's my dystopian vision of the world, and you can absolutely shoot it down, but I think we're going to end up the same way as China. We're going to have a social credit system. If you don't know what that is, if you cross the road the wrong way, it goes down on your social credit. You get
Godwinson? We already have one.
No, but I genuinely do think we're going to have that exact same system. I think we're going to have that exact same
No,
system. We're not even going to be able to have cash. Our cash is going to be frozen because it's a cashless society.
It will be different. It will be different in the sense that it'll be gay and liberal. It won't be sort of based like China
This is it, and they'll comb through whatever comments you have. All of this stuff, you'll have a social credit system. The moment it falls below a certain point, throw you in the camp, throw you in the pod, confiscate your property, kill you. You know.
I think you're kind of right, but they're just gonna farm out the social credit system to the corporations. I think what it is in future governments aren't really going to pass laws, but they're just going to do it that you have to do it to get you food or whatever. So if the corporations
I think that's exactly what it is.
The government.
Yeah. But again, what is our country really? Our country isn't. I mean, there's no such thing as countries anymore. They're just businesses and tax havens, aren't they?
Pretty much.
I mean, the fact that you have the Labour Party, you know, traditionally, you actually go back about 100 years and look at what the Labour Party was stood for. It was all anti-business. It was all anti-capitalism. The fact that in the last general election you had what's his name, Jeremy Corbyn, supposed commie socialist, talk about, we need to protect the rights of business owners. You know, and
he's just a liberal. He's just a liberal.
What does the Labour Party have doing protecting the rights of, you know, business?
Going way back, buds. And all these noobs, it's like, because you know why? They know too many people know. So now, here's what I think. They have to control. And that's why I am the master of deception. So before you even think you've got me, remember, go do my chart, okay? Do some real intelligence work and figure out who you're fucking dealing with, right? Same like guys like Santos and others that, you know, Jason possibly, fuck around and find out types. I am a peaceful, passive person. I'm not an activist. I'm a reactivist, okay? I usually try not to react. That's the key to winning here.
I've got one other major thing which happened, which was interesting, and it was about, you know,
we're still in Rome, are we? No, we're still
in Rome, and this is when I'm actually in Rome, not on the outskirts, right? So
you go back to our map of Hunter's adventures. So we're in Rome still, everybody.
So yeah,
just imagine the bit from Indiana Jones with the plane, and that's
yeah.
So yeah, when you got in there, I mean, there's a lot of tourist attractions. Obviously, you've got Vatican City with St. Peter's Basilica. You've also got the Spanish Steps, the Trevi Fountain, the Castle d'Angelo. All these places, or the Roman Forum, the Colosseum, and what you see outside of all of these things are these so-called staff members who will come up to you, and that's the first thing you notice. And they'll be like, "Okay, we'll give you a tour, guys. We'll give you." So they're these African men, like really black, can hardly speak English, let alone Italian, and they're like, "Okay, so you're going to give me a very accurate tour guide where you can tell me all of the history and everything about this this tourist attraction." Yes, sir. Yes, we can do that. Or like the African.
Clearly not, like.
Yes, this is the place.
This one, Taj Mahal, center of Rome. Taj Mahal, lovely place.
Yeah. And this is
what happens when you run a society purely on money, isn't it? It's like jobs like that get devalued, don't they? I mean, a tour guide for a place that does tourism is like a really important job, and you need to know your stuff.
They have genuine ones. These are all just scammers. They're just scammers.
They're just like wide boys.
Yeah, and they like, but they're not actually staff. They're fake. They're uniform, and the city of Rome, the government there just lets them do it.
Yeah.
And they just do whatever they want.
Do you remember I think it was about 2 years ago. You just jogged my memory, Hunter. But didn't we have on national news? We had one of these kind of North African, what do they call them again? The tricycles that you can ride around in London. What they
Oh
called?
yeah, and they'll just rob you. They'll just rob you.
No, what are they called again? Rickshaw. That's it. Sorry, yes, rickshaw. No, the couple they got filmed doing it, but it was a fella on one of the rickshaws, and he had a couple of two Chinese people, obviously very wealthy due to the lady's handbag and all that, and he charged them. I think it was something like $1.5 grand to ride from round the corner in Soho to round the corner, and because they didn't know none the wiser, and they were, you know, Chinese millionaires, you know, they just paid up. But a taxi driver filmed it, and you remember? So yeah, everyone's at it. Fucking hell.
Wow.
Yeah, they paid up just out of the girl's handbag. She was just like, yeah, all right, why not? I don't really. I'm not sure about the currency. Sounds reasonable to me, like, you know.
I'm a communist.
But I thought the second.
What do you mean? 1,500 yen? 1,500 yen?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, that was on the news.
I thought the second they touched the magic dirt, they took on all of our customs and social mores.
Yeah, they do, but only if they want to. That's the important bit. Yeah. And you can't make them because you're racist.
I thought it was magic dirt. I thought you literally couldn't help it. I thought they instantly became
just 1,500 yen.
British as soon as they land on the ground.
Great yenish pounds.
Have you heard? You guys listen to the odd bit of Earthling Carl, like he listens to LBC. So
yeah.
Have you heard that? Have you heard? I think it's happened at least 2 or 3 times in the last couple of years. But when the question of assimilation comes up and they get a Muslim ring up, and then Nick Ferrari, the fat fucking idiot, he sort of he goes, well, hang on there, Ahmed, we're just going to bring Paul in, just to make it balanced. And it's basically like, right, Ahmed, you can have bully Paul, make a mockery of him and his entire bloodline for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll cut him off when it's his turn. That's basically how it goes. But have you heard them say, like, well, I don't want to assimilate, why should I bloody assimilate, mate? Tell me what I'm assimilating into, for starters. It's he's not everyone's fucking their accents up tonight, aren't they? But have you heard the argument where it's like, I don't want to assimilate, why should I assimilate? And
I do not want to assimilate.
Assimilate into and then Nick
bloody don't assimilate in a bloody country with a bloody people and a fighting bloody foe.
Look, all your children faggot. Why I assimilate? No.
Listen, you teach your children to put poo in a poo hole. It's a bullshit. Yeah.
Well, that's what OB does. That's what James O'Brien does as well. Doesn't he? Comes up with it. He has some bloke on, talks to him for half a second, comes up with some really fucking shit straw man, then cuts the bloke off.
Half a second, yeah. No, James,
and then you get the bit on Facebook. James O'Brien, BTFO's evil racist, don't it?
But it's incredible how they can do a couple hour show on assimilation, how it's so wonderful. Then get 3 Muslims ring up and go, I under no circumstances will be assimilating into your culture, and you cannot make me. And then Nick Ferrari go, all right, fair play, and then just move on to the next subject. It's unbelievable. Whilst making a mockery out of Paul from Grimsby, who rings up going, oh, hello, Nick. Well, I think they should assimilate. And he's like, no, cut you off. Like, what a
bigot,
fucking joke. Yeah.
Evil nuts.
How you skip the queues to go to like Roman Colosseum in the Forum. So that's one of the scams. But then you get these people.
Colosseum, Hunter?
No, I did feel like fighting, but that's another story. So then
point at one of the Africans. Go, you in the Colosseum now,
mate, yeah.
You down there now.
Meet me in the Bloodworks. Meet me in the Bloodworks now.
Smash a glass bottle on a step. You, me now.
Carry on, son.
This is what the little diminutive Indians do, because they're not really aggressive and violent and don't touch you or anything. They're just like
flower sellers.
They sell like little pointless trinkets, but one of the main things they do is, because it's in the blazing heat, they'll be like they'll get like a 20 pack of water, which would be like 30-20p a bottle or even cheaper, and then they'll sell it for €1.50. So
and they'll be flashbacks, was it, Hunter?
Yeah, but the thing they do is they go around and go like water, and they'll just walk up to you and they'll waddle over to you. If you're sitting down catching your breath, they will just harass you and accost you and be like water, or they'll sell like these trinkets, like these little statues that you can get from a souvenir shop and sell them at double the price. Or
well, that used to be the thing going to Spain when I was a kid. You used to have the old boys selling the allegedly gold chains, the ones that turn green after 5 minutes.
That's sorry.
You just have.
I'll edit it out, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So basically,
Penny, write the time down on that one.
I want to just say it. The black men, they will come up to you and they will be like, "Ah, yes, my friend, black and white. If you're wearing black clothing and have white skin, you're from Africa. You're from Africa, my friend. Ah, mate, I'm from Kenya. Here, have a bracelet for free. Here's some bracelets for free." And they'll put it on. If you're, that was with my fiance, so they put a bracelet on my hand and then her hand. And this was the first time, and I had no idea. And then he was like, "Listen, my wife, she's pregnant in Kenya, and I've got to go back today. I'm going back home today." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I just took it off and gave it back to him. And he's like, "Hey, but can I have a cigarette? Can I have a cigarette?" And I gave him a cigarette just to get him to fuck off. But that was the first time. But they just come up to you, and every single one, they have the same canned response that I just kept on hearing. "Hey, black and white, my friend. Are you from Africa?"
Hunter, how many bracelets are you wearing right now?
What did you say?
How many bracelets have you got right now?
None.
None.
I didn't take any. I slapped one out of a guy's hand, and he tried to He got really angry. He's like, hey man, I'm just trying to make some money. Yeah. And then another one tried to give it to my fiance's parents, and I took it. I ripped it off their hands, the parents, and I gave it back to him. And he tried, and he grabbed my hand because I handed it to him, and he gripped onto it, and he was trying to play fucking thumb wars with me because he was pinning down my thumb. It's sort of hurting, and I just ripped my hand away. I walked up, and it's funny. This was right outside the altar to the fatherlands. That happened, which is a really great monument. And but I saw the same guy the next day.
So he hadn't gone to Kenya.
He hadn't gone. No, I hadn't gone to Kenya. But yeah, you see the same. You see the same people doing this. And the thing is, you've got these the Italian military there to prevent terrorism. But they just won't do anything to stop these fucking people because they really harass tourists. They really accost them. They're really horribly aggressive.
Literally, all you got to do is got one of them soldiers goes up to one of them, gives them a gun butt in the face. That fucking calm them down a bit, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Then they'd move on to rather than aggressive bracelet selling, they'd move on to aggressive mugging and things like that. They know. Yeah, me and all. Yeah, certainly, a long time ago. But
it's like you hear them, like you say, those muzzies on that calling is like, "This my country now," don't they?
Oh, the disrespect. I mean, well, actually, no, the actual completely void of the notion of respect. Not even disrespect. Yeah. It could possibly go along that lines. I mean, a couple of the callers I listened to, they just sounded neutral, just almost like we're invisible and they just live here now type thing. It was but no, void of the notion that this is not your country, and actually white people have lived here.
Well, have you read that story that was in the Mail about Savile Town? There's 43. I'll keep talking. I'll find the article and I'll read some stats out to you about.
Okay. Well, the overarching thing is that, well, I say the main point about what all of these people were doing, it was that they weren't necessarily criminals, and the government allowed them to do this, and that was all well and fine. But it's just their existence. They weren't doing anything illegal or horrible, but their existence was an inconvenience to everyone who was a tourist. Their existence.
Sure. Well, look at it like this.
It's not about them behaving badly. It's like all of the Chinese tourists taking up space on public transport, making everything grimy. Seeing basically Asians with different value sets just spit into an ashtray in a restaurant when you're with them.
Oh,
like, it's things like that. You don't.
Yeah.
It's the very fabric of, how society operates and how interpersonal communication works between these people, and how, the habitat which forms around them, how they ghettoize beautiful areas such as the Colosseum and the Forum. And
but Italy, the difference with Italy is Italy has like a dual society, because it has the government and then it has the mafia, and there's different mafias in every region and all this sort of thing. But the mafia effectively operates like a government. That's how organized the mafia is in Italy now. There's like a lot of law
to clean them up.
Pardon?
That's the thing. We need Mussolini clean them all out. We need someone like that again. It's always what happens when you have I'd say minor anarchy, so not whole civilizational anarchy where the whole of the West is in anarchy. And
for a job, you can get a job. You can get the same job essentially, but you're going to go through a different system. We can't really imagine what it's like, because it's like having a separate system of government in your country.
Did you hear what I said about the Yakuza as well?
About what? Sorry,
the Yakuza as well. So that's what I'm saying, is that the general law is when governmental systems or types break down, just before a new one is created, criminal organizations build up parallels to that, and they're the ones that will take over. That is kind of what Mad Max World will look like. I think it will be like mafias, really. Same thing with the collapse of the Soviet Union too. That's where the Russian mafia. So you have these stable rules, like the Gulag gangs developed into a Soviet mafia, which is now Russian mafia. It's all in these countries where everything's destabilized and the government becomes corrupt or something, and it breaks down and it dissolves.
Yeah, but effectively, Italy never really unified. That's the difference in Italy, is that there's not actually unification. If you go to Italy, you realize really quickly when you travel around Italy that they've got different languages. It's not just different dialects. It's effectively different languages. They're different people. Every region of Italy is a different group of people. They're not actually a united country. It's united economically, and that's about it, really. There's no cultural unification in that country. Everyone's separate, and so the mafias are also separate, but they're all connected through, dealings that they do with each other, the same as the government is connected through the dealings that they do in each of those regions. But it's not really, they're not really like a thing of instability. There's something that stabilizes the country. So the mafia actually acts as a stabilizing force within Italy. Or all of the mafias do.
They are essentially protectionists, aren't they? Because these organisations.
That's what the mafia came out of.
Well, speaking of falling apart, I found that article. It's about Savile Town. So Savile Town's in Dewsbury in Yorkshire, and a couple of the 7/7 bombers came from there. So the actual stats are in the last census of 2011 recorded that 48 out of 4,033 people living there were white British.
Jesus Christ. God rest their souls. Fucking hell.
Yeah. I mean, imagine what that fucking... So that's 43 people out of 4,033.
Yeah. Good population of the town, 4,033. 48 people of those are white. Yeah.
White British.
Yeah.
No.
And 40.
Can you imagine what their fucking houses were?
Yeah.
3,990. I mean, really, that could be like two families. Could just be two families.
I mean, shame on the. I wish somebody would follow up on that investigation and kind of, probe into like, how have you not left? How old are you? What are your ties here? Just something. Mental? Are you mental? Are you mad? What's going on? Have you no legs?
Do you need a hand getting out?
Yeah, because I'll get the train up there. You come stay with me for a week till you get your bearings. Back in England.
Back in England.
No.
Yeah, that article, they've probably left by now because that article's 3 years old.
Yeah.
And but so in going back to Italy, those mafias now are the people in charge of immigration. You know, so they'll be the people bringing people in because it's money to them. It's just a way of making money.
We must see the series, and I was like, nah. Like,
did she ask if you were right?
Yeah, she did afterwards. Like, afterwards. I said, I'm going to bed. She was all.
On the plane journey home yesterday, I was watching a movie, which pretty much described the situation that I grew up with in a small town, which is a conurbation of London, and it's called Ill Manners. I don't know. It was directed by Plan B and produced by.
I hate that.
I've heard of it.
We've got to do a movie night on it because there's a full upload of it on YouTube. But we could really pick it apart because Plan B says that the main gangster man called Chris, like he does like little sets and bits pieces where he has visual elements in it, and he's like it was in the song Mr. Drug Dealer, where he's talking about the story of Chris and how he grew up and how he grew older and older in the drug and crime thing. But it starts off like his mum's a cracked out white woman and he's a mixed race child, and he's in this thing called Kirby is the big drug lord, and this is where his mum gets the crack from, and basically she's fucking Kirby for crack, and he has to sit there in the basement, and someone who always hangs around in the basement whilst he's fucking his mum.
What song is this, sorry?
Mr. Drug Dealer.
Is this Plan B? Are you a fan of Plan B, Hunter? Do you like him a little? No, honest question. I can't.
I used to. I think he's very talented and intelligent. I'll say that much.
No, sure thing. No, I had a few mates who was into him. They were always saying, "Oh, I haven't listened to this," but I just never found him that authentic, and I can't imagine what he's like now.
He's basically a Labour. He's like a Chav Labour voter who's.
Oh, forget it. Then. I know. That's all I wanted to get to, just for the audience.
Like no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to use the word Chav, but like I don't actually mean it in a negative sense. But like in the sense that he says it is council house and violent, right? So,
but you also know that that absolute wanker, you know, Akala, who appears on James O'Brien's show. You know, you guys were talking about people, you know,
he's a mixed race.
Kahendi Andrews, Afua Hirsch, Akala. These are like these kind of ambiguous
woke black people.
Very ambiguous entities who get paraded around. Their sole job is to try to mute white identity.
Work for the Guardian, don't they?
Yeah, so I was just going to say,
BBC.
Plan B and cunts like Professor Green, all of those people are in that category now. Stormzy were coming out for the Labour Party, you know.
When you say Plan B, do you mean Benjamin Paul Balance Drew?
Yes, that's right.
Ben Drew.
The working class Benjamin Paul Balance Drew. Yeah, so he's like chav rap.
He's not really. Do you know what he said? He said, I wasn't really middle class and I wasn't really working class, so I didn't really have an identity anywhere.
That means he's middle class. That's what middle class people say when they don't want to be middle class. I wasn't really middle class. You know when you're working class. And you don't
all of this is about getting the youth to vote Labour. That's it. That's just simple as that, you know?
Yeah, it's like I always really admit that I'm fucking middle class. I grew up middle class, and I'm probably living upper middle class lifestyle now. So, yeah.
Did anybody ever see that John Prescott documentary, the one where he was going around talking to people about class?
No, go on.
He's talking to this bird who's on the dole, and he goes, are you working class? So I think I'm middle class. He said, that's ever so strange. Someone working class who thinks they're middle class. Oh, I don't work.
Well, there are degrees to both, aren't there? Because I'm
upper working class.
I might be able to say, but I drink my beer out of a glass. Thank you very much.
The main thing is, Greg, get out of the bath to go for a piss.
I take the penthouse suite at the Bognor Regis Resort.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Class wars.
Upper working
Pretty
class is
fucking
when you go to
bastard.
Butlins and all the staff know your name. That's
Butlins,
all.
yeah, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with defining yourself by your class, but when you use class,
Everyone knows who you are at Butlins.
when you use class to divide people, when you use class to divide yourself out and otherize somebody, I think that's when it's fucking gay.
Well,
but yeah, there's nothing wrong with defining yourself by your class.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't think you should be like, I hate those people because of
I'm
their
claiming
class.
upper working class. That's what I am. I'm upper working class.
Upper working class.
But isn't this whole chat like I'm probably upper middle class? Got people here middle class. Got people here like upper lower class. So right, isn't that basically Volksgemeinschaft? Like that's basically it. Like we're all working towards a higher goal, which is above any sort of class system.
What's the English translation of that? Would you say Volksgemeinschaft? What was that?
Volksgemeinschaft, it means it means unity in the community.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is Eddie gonna move there?
Oh, but just to finish off on that, lads, you carry on. But does anyone echo those sentiments? Like, I mean, or do you think that it's your sort of moral duty in life to, even if we do lose, to not be sore losers and do a bit of climate change and make sure the economy is just sweet enough for the Muslims to take it over? Or do you think
find an old fridge and crack it open?
Yeah, or do you like me just think, nah, no
Find an
way,
old fridge.
not on your Nelly. Like,
Scour the storage units of the country to see if we can find any aerosols with CFCs in them. Accelerationism.
Transcend to 0 point in the chat says climate change is a scam, and I agree, and I think that the reason that the only reason they want a warmer climate is to make it easier for these people to come in. So,
while we're speaking about environmentalism,
it's all part of the same thing, isn't it?
While we're speaking about environmentalism, there's a great new episode of Dope Movies and Shows out where we talk about what's his name, Al Gore's documentary and a couple of other environmental documentaries.
Oh, he said that we'd all be gone in 15 years, wasn't it? Is that the idea?
Well, he said one of the bits we talk about in DMS, because I listened to it again today, listened to it back, and one of the bits we talked about was when he said New York was going to be underwater.
Underwater guy. Yeah.
Well, he actually claimed Hurricane Sandy. He claimed Hurricane Sandy was him getting it right.
What a prick! Jesus Christ!
Jesus! Yeah. It's worth a lesson because we do take the piss out of Al Gore and the style of his. Has anybody here seen An Inconvenient Truth?
I saw it years ago.
It's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
You've got Al Gore pretending that just me and Pa on the farm. Old Pa was a senator, but let's never mind that. Just me and Pa running the farm on our own.
Yeah. I can't remember when I saw that actually. I might have been a normie at the time. Maybe that was one of my first documentaries I ever saw.
That was one of your first red pills, was it? Yeah.
Well, no, you wouldn't call it a red pill.
I'm having all these memories. I'm just thinking about FCs and RFC rugby football clubs. And I just remember being part of my rugby football club and.
Did you play rugby or footy?
Yeah, I played rugby, and
right.
I just remember this guy, and everyone called him Prinny at the Maidenhead Rugby Football Club, and because his name was Stephen Prince. And he was just the most English laddie person ever.
Yeah. No, it's a lovely place to be, isn't it? Definitely, yeah. I admire the lads, My granddad came home from the war, and all he ever said to my mum were the lads, it was great, And then 50, 60 years passed, my granddad's dead now, but my nan, when they were still alive and I was talking to them just before my granddad passed, he just said the war, the lads, it was incredible. It was actually the best time this country's ever been through, and what he was alluding to was just the forced camaraderie, the forced ethnocentrism, the forced community on a national scale type thing. Even when the bombs were falling, he was just like, it was a real good time with the lads, and that was his mantra, the war was great. it was all about the lads, you know. My granddad was a man of limited vocabulary type thing, you know, thoroughly good old boy type thing. But yeah, the lads, the war, you know, that's what he talks about. That's what he reminiscent about, and he seemed at his happiest when he was reminiscing about the war and the lads. Like, yeah. So maybe
he does it anymore. But I listened to some old ones. I think it was Charlie Brooker one.
Oh God, him.
Yeah.
What if your mum was a fucking computer? What if your mum was a computer? what if your penis was an electronic fucking device? Used to give woman orgasms?
That Barry shit piece is like the shittest thing ever, isn't it?
What if you were able to not have a digestive system and you pooed nuts and bolts?
The Nazis is bad. Don't be
racist. Look, Jeff, did you see the one where it's like it focuses on like a black soldier and basically all of the things like vampires and like what happens is they're giving like these drugs or there's this technology built into them which makes them look like Black Mirror, and it makes them look like evil vampire zombies who are infected, but they're really actually Davidite population control. You have to kill ethnic cleansing, and it's there's like okay, how do you have to dehumanize the enemy to get away with it, so the soldiers will kill them, otherwise they won't shoot.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that. That was the story. Black Mirror. It was a decent program. It used to be very fucking English. Like you wouldn't see black. Like do you ever remember Waldo, the blue fucking thing, which became like a fucking Führer at the end of it? Well, that one was pretty good.
No, I've only literally ever seen like the first one where he fucks the pig. That's the only one I've ever seen.
Can I ask a serious question to both of you chaps, Hunter and Hemi? So, would you say that having a missus kind of is a potential reason or a part of a percentage of why you end up watching so many movies and dope shows, as it were?
Yes, just like why I wanted to shut up. I'm sorry. I'm just like, babe, I can't fucking talk to you. You literally, it's giving me a headache. Let's stick the TV on, like, let's stick the movie on. Like, it's easier than, well, especially in my case, it's like a translation machine. Like, fucking hell, I have to like think about things and like having to comprehend what she says in English is difficult sometimes.
Oh, okay, all right.
To be honest, I've always been.
Yeah, well,
the thing is, I'm talking more. I'm talking more to the human trafficker than I am about.
Yeah, what about go on, Emmy? What are you saying?
Well, for me, I've always been like a massive cinephile. I mean, I grew up in a time where like going to the cinema wasn't that fucking dear. Yeah. So like most of the stuff I talk about on like, movies and shows is stuff I've already seen. I'm just rewatching it. So.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah. Do single men on their own? I think maybe they go more for video games or listen on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's harder to watch a film on your own, you know, because I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, man.
When I was a kid, going on the computer was like a social experience because like you'd go around your mate's house or you'd come around your house and you'd be playing on the computer together. But it's like it
split screen
into, like,
playing split screen time crisis with the fucking plastic guns.
Yeah. No, N64. I was pretty good at that. GoldenEye.
But I think the online experience has kind of ruined gaming. Really, it stopped it being a social.
Yeah, I've got a PS4, but I only play single player. I'm not interested in being called a faggot online. You know, it's just ridiculous. Yeah,
come on here if you want that.
Yeah, right.
You're right.
Grief, you don't get called faggot online. They just ask him if he's all right, and he runs away back to one player.
Yeah.
There's fucking people ruin my video games. How I'm saying I'm all right. I wanna. Will you get me an iPint, a censored iPint? That's what I want.
But just quickly, someone's just mentioned who was it? God's own prototype at Grief. Just buy a cheap Android burner. I'll say it again in case anyone hasn't heard. But just get the Chinese phones on on the
Huawei.
internet.
Yeah, Huawei.
No. Like 50. You can buy like £50 phones on Amazon. They're like called
S1,
like
Galaxy
Yeah,
S1.
basically a backdoor Galaxy phone, isn't it?
Yeah. They're called like
The Galaxy goes out the front and the knockoff one and the £25 ones go out the back, don't they?
Yeah, they're called like Hooplu or like weird sort of. They put just words
Hoopla.
Well, I've had
there's actually one called Blackview. There's an actual phone called Blackview. So
well, I've had hundreds of people writing to me, Caleb, saying due to my insightful content, I should set up a Patreon. So
right to you. You got a PO box. What's your PO box?
Hundreds of people, saying they will crowdfund the Hawaii or whatever it is. So
just get the cheapest phones you can.
Yeah, get yourself a Chinese one. The Chinese don't care if you use racial slurs, do they?
Yeah,
they probably find it quite amusing when they're reading it.
Yeah. Plus, I think you'd be helping with their sort of because they're going to be doing some kind of crowd surveying of what people actually think about the government before they try and take our countries over.
Yeah,
they're going to try and survey what people actually think about their governments, so they can find weak points. What we've got to remember is the Chinese, right? Your Chinese are the highest IQ people in the world, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to just bear that in mind. They're going to be like us, but only a bit more cunning with it. So when they want to take us over, they're going to look for weak spots that they can sort of manipulate and try and get in there with. One of them will be.
So you think we should be trying to give the Chinese as much information as possible?
I do. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's it. Who would you rather give knowledge to, the Yanks or the Chinese? It's Chinese every time.
The Chinese, they know that we're not. They know we're not going to be very good communists because we've already we've rejected communism over and over again. So they're going to want to give us something that works for us. In order for us to work for them, they're going to make something that works for us. So all we've got to do is let them know what we want.
Yeah.
What.
Just have a taste of what.
Isn't that a Murdoch episode? Isn't that a Murdoch episode?
Is it? I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's the.
Swap them out for a day or two, like see what's on for a weekend, for a Friday night. See what the Chinese are offering.
I think the Chinese can they've only got to take a look at the West with their big brains, and they'll be able to see what the actual problem is immediately.
Apparently they like us. They like our films, all of that.
They like the fact that
they like Black Panther so much, do they?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They like our country so much that they pay 1,500 quid just to get a rickshaw.
And Japan included right now. Do you see what I mean?
Did you ever read that? Go on. Did you ever read that article about what we're doing to the Facebook moderators? Did you ever read that article?
Making them.
Oh wow!
We're driving them fucking insane. One of them. What was it? He planned out all of the routes to his front and back doors. Every single route, every single way of getting there.
Why?
And he slept with a gun under his pillow after moderating comments.
Right.
They're going absolutely insane.
Oh wow! Fuck. I thought they were. What? Are they Westerners moderating these comments then? I thought they were outsourced to some sort of. Actually, no. Maybe you need each country moderating its own comments. In its own language, probably for context at least. Yeah.
I think they're probably
I mean, imagine trying to moderate Vinny.
Well, I thought it was all the bloody algorithm, but no, there must be people involved. Yeah. In fact, I think I saw a little BBC clip on their thing, meet the people who are deleting your comments. It was like, all right, I'll click on that for once, yeah. But they just all seem to be little Malaysians in dark cubicles. But then again, you probably do need English people to moderate, North and Google-based comments. Yeah. Because what does it mean to a bloody Malaysian? Come on, Ngubu. That's highly racist over here. Over there, who's Ngubu? And
Yeah, well, I mean, how the hell are they going to know all the different,
well, I thought it was an algorithm, but no, there must be a human thing, because an algorithm can't keep up and learn memes that fast, or maybe it can. I mean, to be honest, lads, I don't fucking care. I just don't fucking care. We are living through the collapse. It's glorious, and it's lovely to meet all of you and have the chat there, and sort of, one day, push comes to shove, we'll all have to meet up in a park and, fight it out, something like that.
The power cut,
Yeah, generation will certainly be gone within the next 10 years.
That's a big old voting block going, isn't it?
Main core of boomers die off in the next 30. This multicultural subset of children who are in school, who, you know, I suppose on the worst case scenarios, white lads might see black lads stabbing each other, but on the very center of kind of everything, you just get a girl in a hijab going for lunch with a Irish girl with freckles. Like, I've seen it multiple times this weekend, and like, I don't know, that's going to be something. It's going to have to become a talking point sort of going forward. I'm not advocating either way. I'm just saying, shit, there are problems ahead, because you know this whole idea that there is a generation being born who are immune to race because they've been indoctrinated that far. I saw them this weekend. I looked some of them in the eyes type thing, and it's like, no, that shit is real. That will be a generation in our midst as we go forward. We might look forward to getting rid of some of these boomers, you know, with their kind of real naivety towards the information age that we've been subject to, i.e. the internet, you know. But these guys growing up, they've it doesn't really matter whether they've grown up with the internet. They've actually grown up with multiculturalism, and their best friend is called Shaniqua, and she wears a hijab, and they wouldn't even, do you see what I mean? So I'm just trying to say, scary times ahead, boys, you know.
But you came out of it all right. So you know, I think that like as these people grow up, they will revert to their normal, you know, their personalities that they were born with.
I lived through it. I'm 21 years of age, and I lived it, and I thought I had best mates who were non-white, or at least good mates who cared about me. And that's the thing; it's all facile, it's all surface level interaction with these people. You may go to it's just something to do. There's when you're surrounded,
you're right, boy. Yeah, that's what.
Look, it's more depressing. If you're one of the last white ones left, you are gonna have non-white friends. Because what's worse, being alone or being with non-whites? And it's being alone. Humanity is about being with people and giving them community.
Yeah.
So, of course you're gonna, and it's especially this thing. Like one of the things I used to get along with the whites more because they felt like they didn't have to prove anything to anyone. Whereas the whites, when they're around blacks, they're much more violent. They're much more extreme because they feel like they have to prove themselves around non-white so they can be in their clique.
That was my childhood entirely, Hunter. You know, kind of integrating myself into urban London, which was obviously dominated by sort of quite masculine black lads at the time. You know, and as was the music culture. You know, so and you go where the girls go, and the girls always go for like, you know, what's
well,
hip, what's strong.
Also, what happens is when you're trying to be black, the girls that go for you trying to be black are going to go for blacks because
they're better at being black.
Why be a subpar second? You know?
Yeah. So if you just be white, if any young people out there, just be white because you won't be tricking girls into going with blacks. Then.
Well, listen, what I was trying to highlight here, boys, because listen. What I was trying to highlight, this was the point of it. What I was trying to highlight, because we can talk on our level as we have been doing for years with each other type thing, you know. This is our domain type thing. What I'm trying to say is, if you were to see any one of these sort of people I've witnessed of all age groups in London and just try to, I mean, it just wouldn't happen, but you know, this message is not actually applicable to I think a growing demographic, and I think but like we have done out of our own life experiences, have the potential to grow out of it, and kind of that biological urge to just sort of seek your own. Yeah, of course that's part of it, but I'm just trying to say I went to London thinking, oh god, well I'm going to visit my nan, that's going to be nice, but basically I'm not looking forward to it. I've been firmly away from diversity for a year solidly. No sign of it whatsoever, only looking at the horrors of it on the internet, you know, and there's something to be said about that. But I went back expecting a horror show, and it was like, yes, while I was there, 4 people were stabbed in 3 days. That was on the national news, so that's part of the diversity. But also, you just see people going from the train station, and I went up to the pub, and sort of on my way there, people look miserable in comparison to where I live, and it was rare to see a white person until I got into the pub, which was a nice time. But I'm just trying to say, a lot of people they don't have that look of terror that we kind of have in our podcasts of the reality of race. They're normies. Most of them aren't even on our side. They're not white, but London just seems to be getting on with it. Every time I notice a white girl or a white bloke, he's either going to work, he's got friends of another race, and just look quite happy and fulfilled, and also had slightly better quality sort of clothes than I had on. Was earning, I just thought that's what I meant by black-pilled, because I've been thinking lately, obviously I'm not changing my mind or anything like that, but I am suffering with a little bit of like, Jesus Christ, a lot of these people are just getting on with their lives.
You would have a much, much more easier life if you could assimilate into multiculturalism. There's no doubt about that. Like, I would have so much, success if I was to do that. But the reason why I got into this movement was because I naturally couldn't assimilate into that, and naturally I was selected out of positions of control or power in education, in terms of employment, in like, because I'm use an old like talking point. I'm a straight white male. And I'm a straight white single male who is a presumer, or you're completely disenfranchised to the point of almost, it's getting to the point of non-existence. If you're creative, you won't, and you're a type like I'm pretty creative, and I'd just rot if I was doing anything which wasn't creative. So, and I can't be a TV director. I can't be a producer. I can't access that and not have to be of a multicultural mindset.
You can't even apply for a job at the BBC because you're white, can you?
Yeah.
No.
Well, maybe this is something we could explore, next week or something. I think it's worthwhile for us and our listeners to maybe put to bed and explore and kind of heal each other in regards to what are the downsides to being alt-right. Maybe who's that cunt? What's he called? Kale Kleb or whatever, I saw the memes. What's he called?
Oh, Caleb Kane.
Caleb
a lot
Kane.
Of people don't think he's not even a real person.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to believe, but I'm only joking with that. But I think maybe we should we should shut it down. I think Cable wants to.
The thing is, Grief, you're when you're seeing people in the street, you're getting a very shallow read of like how they actually feel, So that's what you should take away from it. Is that on the surface, it's much easier to just get on with things, but you don't know.
I agree,
but I think that shallowness is almost the essence of the kind of the normie river that carries you from Monday to the nightclub to work.
No, I mean you're getting a shallow. When I say you're getting a shallow read, I'm saying you are yourself. So although you're seeing things on the surface, that is all it is. You're not inside these people's heads, and so the turmoil going on inside people's heads. That's why they're reaching for materialism. That's why they're not sleeping well at night. They're not eating well. They're not they're not getting on with life properly. They're not having families. They're not doing the things they should be doing. So there is turmoil going on. All we've got to do is agitate it. That's all our job is. To keep
all I'm trying to
pushing for people to sort of go, there is a reason for that happening to me. There is a reason why I feel like shit all the time, why I don't feel like anybody likes me.
I'm just trying to say, listen, there is, all I'm trying to say,
that's not me projecting, by the way.
I agree with what you're saying. All I'm saying is, before we wrap up, that basically, if we think things are tough now in terms of like arguing with the odd boomer about Brexit on Twitter, who has actually experienced in England that was white and has been, at worst case scenario, brainwashed into believing that no, it's always been multicultural type thing. We are, within that next 20 years, about to be engaging with a brand new subset of people who actually really don't know anything else. Or, that notion of England, for many people, I'm only talking about the cities and the sort of like expanses out of that. The ideology will have changed and almost been defeated in certain regards in pockets in our country, i.e., the cities. When the boomer side happens, like that Simone girl that God's own prototype posted in the chat. Simone, I'm a Londoner type thing. Do you remember this video that? I'm just trying to say, you're about to meet a whole generation of them. That will be the prevalent mindset. It will have been kind of glued there.
That's propaganda, mate. That ain't gonna happen. That's propaganda.
As the boomers go and you get replaced by
But she knows she's not a Londoner, great.
That's what they want you to think. It's propaganda.
I'm just saying.
Propaganda, red, black pill you. Don't. That's all it is. It's propaganda.
Okay, well that's best case scenario because I hope I have been victim to propaganda. It's just, I'm just trying to say my visions of London and sort of, there's talk about taking the cities back. It seems fucking impossible. It just seems like that place seems to be just sort of bubbling away, always on the brink. But I mean, the youth, what do the youth want to do? They don't want to talk politics. They want to go and get an ice cream. Do you see what I mean? And I don't know.
What a blowjob. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe it's the wrong time to bring all this up, but I would maybe next week.
It's a good conversation that we can do.
Yeah, the black pill of visiting my hometown, because you're still there, Caber. So that'd be a good conversation, wouldn't it? If we talk about sort of like, well, you're there day to day, and then compared with like a bloke who was born there, his heart is there, but left, and then he comes back for a weekend. Do you see what I mean? That'd be quite an interesting little bit. I suppose.
Yeah. But we're also probably about 4 years ahead of what other people are going to be thinking in 4 years' time. So as people grow up, the way I see it is that you're born a certain way, and they program you to act a different way, but eventually that slips away. That programming dies off. They can't keep the programming up. That's why they keep you in school for 18 years. They're trying to keep the programming up, but eventually it falls away and you become yourself again, which is, the first most important part of yourself is being white. The second part is being
we were gaslit into eating kebabs. That's it. We were gaslit into eating kebabs.
I always say, look at
beans again.
Look at what they had to do to get us into this stage.
Exactly.
I mean, still the brain response from a normal bloke watching two men kiss is.
Okay, we're gonna attack this position.
And this is what we need to remember, is that people will snap back, because this is how we're talking about all completely and utterly unnatural. We will snap back.